This is Steve Sabludowsky, publisher of BuyUBuzz.com, and today, and thank you for waiting, we have Mark Romig, who is going to be talking to us. Mark is the president and CEO of the New Orleans Tourism and Marketing Corporation. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm just putting this up on Twitter. Mark, good morning to you.
Morning, Stephen. How you doing today? Happy Monday.
Oh, thank you so much, and happy NBA tournament All-Star game. How was it?
It was Anthony Davis all the way. It was a great weekend for New Orleans, not only with the NBA All-Star game and all the festivities around that, including all the public service that the players performed, but also the fact that it was our first weekend of Mardi Gras. In addition, we had 10 large meetings in New Orleans, and we had about 10,000 cruise ship passengers in and out of the port. So it was quite a weekend, and the city handled it very well.
Okay, that's really super. I mean, it's always great to see this type of opportunity, and it was sort of surprising that we actually got the game, right?
Well, it came down to the NBA needing to move the game for their reasons, which have been discussed many times, and to find a city within the short period of time that they had to find a city that could pull this off. And when the initial calls were made to the Pelicans organization by the NBA commissioner, there was never a question that we couldn't do this. It was just a matter of pulling all the pieces together and working through the issues. Stephen Perry with the New Orleans Convention and Business Bureau, the mayor, who has been the biggest proponent of making sure that these things do go well, along with the Saints Pelicans organization and just the general hospitality industry working through this New Orleans Great Sports Foundation just came together and said, all right, what do we need to do? How do we make this work? Let's work with the carnival organizations. Let's work with the Department of Streets. Let's work with restaurants and special attractions and events places. And let's put on the best show possible. And I think here is Monday morning. I know it's a little Monday morning quarterbacking, knock on wood, but I think the city did what it said it was going to do.
Yeah, so it's really a team effort.
It really is, and I've got to go back to something that I thought was true over the past 7 years as it relates to practicing for these things. The mayor is very keen on doing tabletop exercises where he pulls out all the players together around a table, a U-shaped table literally, and runs through all of the scenarios, who's on first basically, who's handling the ball here, what's going to happen over here. And all these scenarios are talked through and worked through so that when the event happens, we've all been through the process. There's a lot of trust. There's also a lot of checking back on all the issues and making sure that the arrangements are done. So it really is it's a team effort, as you said, and it starts at the top, and it gives us all a go-to attitude that, you know what, we can accomplish anything. And of course, our city has had a lot of practice in accomplishing a lot of things under some really crazy circumstances.
So, why don't you tell us about the organization, the New Orleans Tourism Marketing Corporation? Why don't you tell us about it?
I'll be happy to. The organization was founded in the early 1990s through an ordinance at the city council level with support from the mayor's office to principally take a portion of the bed tax, which was created to help fund an advertising program for the city of New Orleans during the slow summer months. This is post-World's Fair. We've just been through the oil bust, and the restaurant and hotel industry in the summer was really on its knees. There was a little bit of the same issue between Thanksgiving and Sugar Bowl around the holiday time, but for the most part, we wanted to use the opportunity to help message New Orleans out to the nation as a place to visit during the summer months. Now, obviously, we have our challenges because we all know it's not a cool front coming through in the summer, but there's so much to see and so much to do in the city. We felt like we could message it out appropriately and work with the hospitality industry to build some great deals and opportunities for people to visit. So that's how we started. Over the years, it has worked in conjunction with the New Orleans Convention and Business Bureau, which is a separate organization. They're a private member-based organization. And so what we do is help them with the messaging of the city as a destination. They're principally responsible for groups of 10 or more, but they also do the very important job of working with visitors while they're in town through visitor information. So it's a hand-in-glove kind of organization, and we have really, over the last several years, as we've been able to get more and more funds to our organization to message New Orleans on a year-round basis. So we've become more of a year-round branding arm for the city as it relates to leisure travel to the city. The majority of the visitors to New Orleans are the leisure traveler, whether they're coming to the NBA All-Star game, or they're coming here for a honeymoon, or they're coming here for a family vacation or a reunion. They would consider themselves leisure, but we all have a piece in getting them here, whether it's the CDB and their great staff trying to bring in those large groups and conventions and associations here, and working with the Great New Orleans Sports Foundation, or it's just that person who's trying to figure out, do I go to Charleston, do I go to San Antonio, or do I go to New Orleans? And our job is to convince them to come to New Orleans and spend those dollars here. At the end of the day, we are an economic development corporation chartered through the state of Louisiana, and our sole purpose is to create a very good environment for spending to occur in New Orleans, which means we can see tax flow to not only the city but to the state. We also help create jobs by increasing demand for the city, so that we see more restaurants opening, hotels are expanding, more attractions